This video is just to help my students remember how to do a single crochet when they're left-handed, okay? So we have our chain here, and we're going to hold our yarn in our right hand and our hook in our left hand, just like we did when we were chaining, okay? And to do a single crochet, like I've explained in my class, I try to imagine a crochet piece of fabric like graph paper, and each stitch is like a square in the graph paper. So here we have a stitch, 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 and then we have the sixth stitch here, right? So we have 5, but this is going to add our height, right? We need to go up to the next row. So what a pattern is going to say is go into the second chain from the hook, meaning not this one, but rather this one, okay? So I'm going to show you guys how we do that. So we take our hook in our left hand, and we go into not this first stitch, but the second stitch from the hook. We're going to go right into that, okay? And we're going to do our single crochet. So we're holding our yarn, and we're using these fingers, my right middle finger and my right thumb, to stabilize kind of our fabric down here. And we're going to grab that yarn, and we're going to go away from us, grab it, and pull it through the stitch. Okay, and we're going to scoot these down every time because we want these loops to fit around this fatter part of the hook, not the skinny part, because otherwise the stitches will be too tight. Okay, and then we're going to grab another yarn over here. We're going to push it away from us and grab it, and we're going to pull it through both loops. And we have just completed a single crochet. So let's do this down our row. Okay, this one we've already gone into. You see this nice big hole, and you can see the yarn right through here. So we know we've already done this stitch. We need to go into this stitch right here. Okay, so we're going to go into our stitch. We are going to grab our yarn, doing a yarn over. We're going to go away from us and grab it, pull it through that stitch or that chain, and then we're going to push it down on our hook. Make sure that gets nice and big there. And then we're going to grab our yarn again and pull it through both loops. All right? Okay, let's do it again. So again, we've gone into this one. See this big hole? See this yarn in there? We already did that one. So now we're going to go into this one. So we'll put our hook into that chain. We're going to grab our yarn, pull it under that chain, grab our yarn again, and pull it under both loops here. All right, so we've done our third single crochet. Now, just to use some crochet terminology, those of you in my classes know that I really try to use that quite a bit just to help you in pattern reading later. So we'll enter into the stitch, yarn over, pull it under one loop, and we will yarn over and pull it under 2 loops to do our single crochet. All right, let's do the last one here. So we'll go into our stitch, yarn over, pull it through 1 loop, yarn over, and pull it through 2 loops. Okay, and then for single crochet, we need to do a turning chain so that we can come up here and go down this next row, okay, because we're going back and forth and back and forth. So in order to do that, you would chain 1, and to do that, all you do is just like when we started our project. You push that yarn away from you, yarn over, and pull it through 1 time. And that gives us our turning chain. From here, we're going to turn our work like turning a page in a book, and we're going to keep going. Now here we have a whole stitch to work with, not just a chain, okay? So it's a little bit easier to kind of see our holes and see what we're working with here. So we don't want to go into this first stitch, see this first V here? Because that was our turning chain, so we want to go into our second stitch from the hook. So not this first one, but this one here. So we will enter our hook into that stitch, yarn over, and pull under the stitch. And then we will yarn over and pull through both loops. Okay, let's do that again. Holding my yarn, keeping it up here. Okay, we're going to go into the next stitch. We're going to grab that yarn and yarn over, pull it under that stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull it through both loops. And you'll notice when I'm pulling it through both loops, I am not trying to force it through quickly. With some yarns and some projects and some people who have been doing it a very long time, they can loop it right through, and that's fine. But when you're learning, it's a good idea at this point in the stitch to pull through one loop at a time. 1 and 2. You're still working it through both of those, but you're not risking grabbing too many loops. So let's do this again. Into the stitch. Okay. We're going to yarn over, pull it under the stitch, and we're going to yarn over and pull it through both loops. Alright, we have one more stitch here. The stitch on the end always looks a little funny. That's okay. It's still there. We know it's there. So don't forget about it. But do know that the first and last stitch of every row tends to look a little bit different than the rest, and that's okay. Alright, so into the stitch, yarn over, pull under the stitch, yarn over, and pull under both loops. And that finishes our row. And this is when you would chain 1 and turn your work again. Hopefully that helps you. If you need any more help, let me know. Thanks.